Hi, I'm Yaya, and then I'm going to talk about being LGBT people in Sweden versus Myanmar.
Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who make videos about LGBTQIA plus people where they get to talk about anything that they want that somehow relates to them being queer. At the start of August, I spent a couple of days in Stockholm to attend Stockholm Pride. While there, I also took the opportunity to sit down with some awesome queer people and listen to their stories. One day I met up with Yaya.
Well, my name is Yaya, and then I'm originally from Myanmar, and I have been resettled to Sweden 15 months ago. I kind of fled my country in 2021 after the military coup and got stranded in Thai-Burma border for almost a year before I was resettled to Sweden last year. I am identified as a woman and my pronouns are she, her.
Let's take it from the beginning. What's it like growing up queer in Myanmar?
Being a gender and sexually diverse person in Myanmar is difficult to say easy or challenging because, for example, if you have a strong background, then your life could be easy. You will not be disturbed. You could be treated with respect in front of people or publicly. But the thing is that when it comes to, your social status, if you do not have anything, or if you are not a person or a celebrity, that will be very difficult and you will be treated with so many discrimination. Personally speaking, I have a respected father figure that protects me from being discriminated. So this is not happening to everyone. So I feel privileged, but then this is not right.
Yaya has known that she's a woman since she was really young.
When I was little, I thought that I was a woman. But then when I was in school, the teasing of other people and then the treatment of teachers and professors, I decided that this could have impacts on the development of my life. So I decided to be just expressing my gender as the sex that I was born with. And then I have completed my school and then live a life of a man, but then quite effeminate. And then I identified myself then as a gay man. But then I think that my life is not complete because I'm not confident in myself. I do things wrong all the time. And then I was quite indecisive and not as determined as I should be. So what happened is that I decided to live the way I am. And then I started to change. Whenever my lipstick is very red, I become more confident. And then whenever I am in the clothing that are much more comfortable, then I think that it is me.
This is where we were attacked by a rainfall, so we had to move the interview indoors into a noisy lobby of a hotel. How did people react then when Yaya started to express herself as herself?
People around me were not that surprised that I have changed because it is not a drastic change. I've been effeminate all my life, but of course, even though it was expected, my mother, who was then alive, was quite reluctant to accept what I have become. It is not just my mother's opinion. I am her only son, and then she loves me so much. But what happened to her is that in this religious background, she would be pressured by her siblings and then also by the religious community that I am an abomination. So I think this pressure pushed my mother in a way not to easily accept me for who I am. But then I am a person who kind of like don't care whatever you think of me, because I am on my own, and then I will live my life the way I like.
But Yaya had to leave the successful and stable life she had in Myanmar because of the unsafe situation that was developing in the country.
In 2021, when there was the military coup, and then different activists were arrested, and then I kind of like felt that it would not be that secure for me to be there. I had a good future. I mean, I am in good business. I set up my own company, and then all the business is good. And I have been dreaming that all my life. But the thing is that when things goes beyond your control, you never know what is going to happen. So I left for my safety. Because this happened in the 1988, there was a military coup. And then after that, many people got arrested, many people have been tortured and killed. And this is the experience. And then I do not want this kind of things to happen to me. But in my country, unfortunately, if you are leaving, people think you're a coward. Why would you do that? Why other people are fighting? Something like that. But then I feel that this is a personal choice. I want to be safe. I don't want to be tortured. I don't want to be raped and beaten. And then I kind of like left my country.
The journey was not easy for Yaya.
There are other people who have faced more difficulties and challenges than me. But then my journey was also quite challenging for me too. And given I have left everything behind, no possession at all, and then started my life again. I used to work before for the UN Refugee Agency. I never thought that one day I would become a refugee myself. But then I did become one.
And then she ended up in Sweden.
Sweden is a country where I've never thought of before. But then with the resettlement program, I have been here. What I have learned here is that Sweden is a country with very good legal framework, especially for sexually and gender diverse people. They have the same protection as other citizens. So it is a good thing to learn about it. But then later on, I have found out that there is two parts in all the good things. And then I want to make it clear. The first one is about understanding the sexually and gender diverse people. And the second one is accepting them. And I thought that here, when they have very good legal frameworks and all these things, people would generally accept everybody. But it is not true. The thing is that there is understanding of the rights of the person, and then respecting those rights. And that does not mean the gender diverse people are accepted in the society. They are just being understood, and then they enjoy the rights. But from time to time, whenever there are flaws in the laws, then these people could be discriminated against. And then the discrimination comes at a high level. When educated people are discriminating, then it is even kind of like worse, and then sometimes it could go undetected, and it would be very hard to report, and the mechanism that exists to combat this could have some issues as well, because I would say it is quite advanced discrimination. And then acceptance would be something that, for example, if you have a son or a daughter, and then that son or daughter brought a gender diverse person into your family and you warmly welcome them, accepting them as one of your children. This would mean acceptance to me. And then understanding is that you don't want to deal with them, you don't want to accept them, but the thing is that you know the law. When you don't do it, you will be punished. There is a stick there, and then you know how hard the stick is, something like that. So this is what I experienced here.
She also sees another inequality for queer people.
Men and women are always competing. Until today, we don't have equal pay here, even in this country, for men and women. And then I think it is the same for other gender diverse people as well. Equality, even though it is seen, it is there, it is quite far for women and other gender diverse people to be there. We live in a patriarchal world, and whenever there is a flaws or there is a gap in the laws or anywhere else, then they will take this opportunity and do everything they could for this patriarchy. So, I mean, like, we have to be feminist.
Yaya wants to end the video with this message.
When I am here, I have been recognized as someone I would like to be recognized. I have been able to change my name to the name that people would respect me, and then to the name that will conform to my gender identity and expression. But then in many parts of the world, including my country, it is not a possibility even to change the name. What I am expecting is that the world will come to a place where these things could be recognized. We're talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. And then it is not me who is talking about these Sustainable Development Goals. It is the United Nations and the leaders of the countries who talked about these goals, and then they promised that they will fulfill these goals. If we are to fulfill these goals, then the gender recognition, gender equality is part of it, and then we need to talk about this as well. We cannot leave it like that. Sometimes my life, I would say that perfect, but then it is not for everyone yet. Everyone has to have the same rights, the same opportunities like I do enjoy now.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time.